There's a fine line between homage and hesitation. And in 2025, I feel like we're watching more designers cross that line without even realizing it. When a new creative director steps into a house, their first collection is almost always archival. It's a love letter, a reassurance, a way of saying, I know where this house comes from. And honestly, it's beautiful, it's respectful, it's necessary. But when the second collection arrives, and it's still the same silhouettes, the same reissued pieces, the same 90s or early 2000s blueprint with a slightly updated fabric or a 2025 gloss, then it stops feeling like tribute. It starts feeling like fear. Fear of disappointing the house, fear of breaking tradition, fear of not being instantly loved by the audience, fear of taking risks in a time where the industry punishes risk. And that fear is slowly draining the lifeblood of creativity from fashion. I love archival pieces. I collect them. I wear them. I admire the history and the craftsmanship. But there's a difference between celebrating the past and living in it. When a new designer arrives, I want to see what they have to say. I want to know their handwriting, their perspective, their courage. I don't want to see another reinterpreted Tom Ford-era Gucci piece for the 1000th time. Tom Ford did what he did to perfection. But when a new creative director is given the keys to a legendary house, they should be writing their own chapter, not rewriting someone else's. Yes, the first archival collection is exciting. It tells the world this is where we came from. But the second collection should say, this is where we're going. And that's the part so many designers seem scared to commit to right now. We're living in a moment where nostalgia feels safer than innovation. Houses want guaranteed virality, guaranteed sell-through, guaranteed approval. But creativity has never been born from guarantees. Creativity comes from tension, from risk, from vision, from the willingness to bring something into the world that didn't exist before. Fashion is starting to feel like a loop, the same archive references, the same revived trends, the same silhouettes coming back season after season. And while it's fun to see pieces we loved return, it becomes empty when that's all we get. We don't need more recreations of what fashion already mastered decades ago. We need something new stories, new shapes, new ideas, new risks. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of why the industry feels stuck right now and what this nostalgia cycle really says about us, my digital magazine GTWJ ISSUE 001 is out now. A new issue drops on the 1st of every month, and it's where I dive into the long-form essays, the cultural shifts, and the deeper fashion conversations that don't fit inside a single video. There's a point where reinterpreting the past becomes a way of avoiding the future. And maybe that's what we're living through now, an industry afraid that the new won't be loved, or won't be understood, or won't be enough. But fashion has never moved forward by staying comfortable. It moves because someone dares to challenge what came before. Someone dares to imagine a silhouette we didn't know we needed. Someone dares to risk being misunderstood. I think we're all craving that again. That thrill of seeing a runway look that makes you lean forward instead of nodding at a reference you already knew. That feeling of surprise, of discovery, of possibility. That's the magic that made so many of us fall in love with fashion in the first place. And I want to believe that magic isn't gone. I want to believe that we're at the end of a nostalgia cycle, not trapped inside it. Because the truth is, fashion doesn't need to repeat itself to be relevant. It needs to remember that creativity is the language that keeps this industry alive. And right now, we're ready to hear someone speak in a new voice. There is another side to this conversation, and it's the side that gives me hope. Yes, too many houses fall into the comfortable habit of replaying archives until the archive itself becomes wallpaper. But we also live in a moment where several creative directors have arrived at institutions and given us something that feels like a true voice, a conversation with the house, not a transcription of its textbooks. Matteo Blasi at Chanel has been doing precisely that, honoring Chanel's artisanry while staging gestures that feel of now, turning heritage into lived modern moments rather than museum pieces. Bottega's leadership changes have also shown how a house can be reread without losing its soul. The careful passing of the torch, the invitations to new perspectives that actually add to a brand's lexicon, These are acts of courage. When a creative director comes in and brings their own handwriting while respecting the house's grammar, that is the kind of authorship we crave. Think of the greats, Galliano, McQueen, Lagerfeld. They mined history and archives, yes, but they translated those materials into statements no one had seen before. They didn't hide behind nostalgia. They used it as fuel for invention. That distinction is everything. Archives supplied them with tools. Their imagination supplied the architecture. When a designer truly authors a house, you can feel a risk in every seam. You can feel a world being proposed. You can feel a point of view. What we're frustrated by in 2025 is not reference itself. We love reference. It's sameness masquerading as vision. I collect archives, and I adore wearing original pieces as they were made. There is a powerful pleasure in wearing a jacket untouched by reinterpretation, a joy in the authenticity of the object. But when every new collection reads like a photocopy of the decade that sold best on social media, the fashion conversation flattens. We want the house to be remembered, yes, but we also want it to be spoken through, not merely repeated. So what does a good creative transition look like? It's simple and rare. The first collection recognizes the house. The second collection expands on that recognition and answers a question. The third collection stakes a territory that could only have been carved by that director. The arc should feel like a trilogy, not a relay of the same sentence. That arc requires courage from the designer and patience from the house. And in 2025, patience is scarce. When a creative director brings in references, the intelligence lies in how they reframe them, whether they're using archives to anchor a new political reading, a new material story, or a new way of dressing bodies today. It can be subtle, a tweed reworked for new movement, an archival cut adapted for different proportions, a logo recontextualized as critique rather than commerce. These are not small edits, they are linguistic shifts. They show that the house is continuing to write its history rather than living inside a single comfortable chapter. We must also be honest about the market pressures. Houses are companies, and shareholders, stores, and algorithms push for what sells. That reality explains a lot of the repetition, but it does not excuse it. The best interventions are those that satisfy both worlds, something that looks at home on a buyer's wish list and also unsettles the cultural conversation. That's real creative success. I want designers to claim their mandate when they enter a house. Claiming it does not mean erasing the house's identity. It means adding a voice that could never have existed without this particular meeting of person and institution. It means writing a chapter that will, in time, be referred back to in future archives. If we keep giving designers only permission to curate the past, we'll lose the future chapters entirely. So where does that leave us as an audience? As collectors, as editors, as lovers of clothes? We should celebrate the directors who speak clearly and call out the ones who only echo. We should reward risk with attention and investment. We should buy into voices that feel authored, not into endless iterations that only make the archive feel tired faster. When we support courageous work through conversation, criticism, and commerce, we create room for more daring experiments. I still believe the archive is a gift, not a prison. It becomes a tool when used to ask new questions. What does this tell us about today's body, today's politics, today's craft? When the answer is simply to sell what sold before, the conversation ends. When the answer is to speak with the past in order to describe a different present, the conversation deepens. In the end, I want to see fewer safe homages and more brave authorship. I want designers who walk into great houses and say, I see you, I honor you. Now watch what I will say with you. That is the promise of stewardship. That is why we fell in love with fashion in the first place. For those moments when a designer proposes a new way of seeing the world, and the world shifts a little because of it. If we keep demanding that new voices be both respectful and bold, we will get the work we deserve. Houses that remember, and designers who dare. And maybe that's the real heart of this conversation. We are living through a moment where fashion feels like it's standing at a crossroads, unsure whether to look forward or backward. And so many designers, especially the newer ones stepping into gigantic legacies, are choosing the safer route. They're choosing the route of remembering instead of imagining, But the designers who change the world are the ones who dare to imagine. Because when you think about it, nostalgia is comforting. It's familiar, it's proven, it sells. But it can also become a shield, a soft place for a designer to hide when the pressure is so enormous that the idea of presenting something radically new feels dangerous. But fashion has never rewarded fear. Fashion rewards clarity, vision, a point of view that cuts through the noise and tells you without words, this is where we're going next. Look at Galliano, look at McQueen, look at Karl. They didn't just dip into archives, they excavated them, translated them, and built supernatural worlds from their foundations. They took heritage as a starting point, not a destination. They made the archive feel alive, and that's why their work still feels untouchable. And yes, plenty of creative directors today still dare to do that. Mathieu Blasy's Chanel is proof that a house can be honored without being petrified. Bottega shows us that a brand can move forward while keeping its quiet confidence. Some designers step into a house and you immediately feel, okay, this is someone adding a chapter, not rewriting, not photocopying, adding. But some, we still don't know what they're trying to say. Are they speaking for themselves, or are they speaking through ghosts of the past because they're afraid their own voice won't be enough? And I understand the fear. These houses are huge monuments, but the greatest designers were the ones who walked in and said, this is my language, let me speak. And maybe that's the real issue. We've entered a period where brands are terrified of losing money, terrified of losing relevance, terrified of taking risks in a world that punishes experimentation if it doesn't immediately go viral. Social media has shortened the runway. The public wants instant recognition, instant nostalgia, instant reference. So designers give people what people already know because it's safer. But safe fashion never becomes iconic. Safe fashion never becomes history. So as we step into 2026, what do I hope for? Newness, freshness, storytelling. Designers who trust their own eyes enough to show us something we didn't know we wanted. Designers who honor the house without hiding behind it. Designers who use archives as conversation, not as camouflage. Fashion doesn't need more remixes. Fashion needs authors. It needs people who will walk into a legendary maison and say, this brand has a heartbeat and I'm going to keep it alive by letting it evolve. Because evolution is not disrespectful. Evolution is the greatest tribute a designer can give to a house. And I truly believe we're right at the edge of a shift. People are tired of endless nostalgia loops. Tired of seeing the same silhouettes resurrected for the 10th time. Tired of new collections that look like mood boards of 1997 with a TikTok filter. People want something to believe in again. Fashion can be that if designers let themselves create, not imitate. If houses give them the freedom to take risks. And if we, the audience, reward the designers who dare to speak with their own voice instead of only applauding the ones who echo the past. Because the future of fashion is not in archives. The future of fashion is in the hands of the designers brave enough to write the next archive. And I truly hope, 2026 is the year we begin to see that bravery return. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.